Picture a tiny voice reciting words that changed the entire world. A child, maybe sitting on a mat, swaying gently, repeating verses again and again, not knowing that every letter they pronounce is shaking the heavens in their favor. This is the miracle of a child memorizing the Qur'an. It's not just learning, it's a sacred transformation happening quietly inside a soul that hasn't even tasted adulthood yet. And here's the crazy part. Kids don't memorize the Qur'an with ego, pride, or showing off. They memorize with innocence. They memorize with hearts that are still untouched by the seriousness of the world. And that purity, that sincerity, that softness, is exactly why Allah honors them in a way that blows the mind. When a child becomes a carrier of the Qur'an, they become a carrier of light. That light enters their heart, then their home, and then their entire family. You can literally feel the difference in a house where the Qur'an is recited, the calm, the mercy, the barakah. And this child becomes the center of all of that without even realizing it. Now here's where it gets even more overwhelming. On the day of judgment, when fear is everywhere, when people are searching desperately for someone to help them, this child will stand with a rank so honored that Allah will grant them the ability to bring 100 of their family members into Jannah. Not because they were perfect. Not because they were famous. But simply because they memorized the Qur'an and held it close. Imagine that. A child, maybe one who struggled, cried, tried their best, and kept going, becoming a lifeline for an entire family. Imagine parents being pulled out of fear and into paradise with dignity because their child memorized Allah's book. Imagine grandparents, siblings, aunties, uncles, people who supported that journey even a little. All being lifted because of that child's effort. No school award can compare. No certificate can match it. No worldly achievement even comes close. This is not just a reward, it's a legacy. A generational blessing. A lifetime of honor compressed into the heart of one young memorizer. And the most beautiful part? Most kids don't even know the magnitude of what they're doing. They think they're just memorizing. Just repeating. Just learning. But Allah is writing for them mountains of reward, writing for their parents crowns of light, and writing for their loved ones a place in paradise. This video is your deep dive into that beauty, the spiritual elevation, the hidden blessings, the dunya benefits, and the unimaginable akhirah rewards that come with a child memorizing the Qur'an. Before we dive all the way in, family, pause for a sec and really think about the kind of knowledge we share here. This isn't just another video you scroll past. This is a space where we remind each other of the things that actually matter, the things that build your faith, soften your heart, and help you grow closer to Allah day by day. So if you're someone who loves learning about the Qur'an, if you're someone who wants to strengthen your deen, if you want reminders that keep your heart alive in a world full of distractions, then hit that subscribe button real quick. Not because of numbers. Not because of hype. But because this channel is a little corner of the internet where we spread light, the kind of light that comes from Allah's book, from the stories of the prophets, and from the wisdom of our deen. And honestly, staying connected to that kind of reminder can change your day, your vibe, and sometimes even the direction of your life. Subscribing means you're joining a community that wants to grow together, learn together, and stay close to Allah. Especially in a time when it's so easy to drift. So go ahead, tap subscribe, and make sure you're here for every lesson, every reminder, and every piece of spiritual motivation that drops. Because trust me, today's topic is one you don't want to miss. 1. What it means to be a child who memorizes the Qur'an. When we talk about a child memorizing the Qur'an, we're not just talking about memory skills or repeating verses on command. We're talking about a young heart becoming a vessel for divine words, the same words that guided prophets, moved nations, and shaped history. Imagine a child whose brain is still developing, whose personality is still forming, absorbing the speech of Allah before they even fully understand the world. That's not ordinary. That's a blessing that hits on a whole different level. Kids who memorize the Quran grow up with something most people spend their whole lives searching for: a built-in moral compass. They carry a foundation of guidance that whispers to them in every moment, when they're choosing friends, when they're facing temptations, when they're struggling with emotions, when they're trying to find who they are. And because they memorize the Quran so young, the verses stay with them forever. The rhythm, the recitation, the connection, it becomes part of their identity. Even if they grow older and get busy with life, the Quran doesn't leave them. It stays, knocking gently, reminding them of Allah, of purpose, of goodness. Kids who memorize the Quran also build something adults often struggle with: discipline. The daily recitation, the repeating, the corrections, the revision, all of that trains their mind to stay focused, patient, and consistent. While other kids get frustrated with homework, these children are learning how to face challenges with calm and grit. And then there's the spiritual side. The part you can't see but you feel. A child memorizing the Quran walks with a certain light. Their face softens, their voice carries calmness, their presence brings peace. The angels surround them as they recite. Allah's mercy falls upon them as they try. Every letter they memorize lifts them higher and higher in rank. And honestly, their innocence makes their recitation hit different. When a child recites Quran, it feels pure, untouched, straight from the heart. Even adults feel it. Your chest loosens, your eyes soften, and your soul feels hugged. And the beauty? These kids don't realize how special they are. They're just doing what their teacher told them. They're just trying to memorize the next line. But in the unseen world, Allah is writing rewards for them that are beyond anything we can imagine. This is what it truly means to be a child who memorizes the Quran. A heart protected. A soul guided. A mind strengthened. A future elevated. A family honored. 2. The hadith about Quran memorizers interceding for loved ones. Now we get to one of the most touching, mind-blowing rewards Allah gives to those who memorize the Quran, especially children who start young and carry Allah's book throughout their lives. There is a hadith that scholars mention which says that the one who memorizes the Quran will be able to intercede for their family. Meaning, on the Day of Judgment, Allah will honor them so much that He will allow them to help bring their loved ones into paradise. Just pause and imagine that. The Day of Judgment is not like today. It's not a normal day. It's a day when every soul is standing in fear, begging for mercy, searching desperately for help. The sun will be close, people will be sweating based on their deeds, and every person will be thinking, how will I be saved? Yet here comes a child. Someone who memorized Allah's book, standing in that crowd with a status that shines brighter than anything else. And Allah, out of His mercy and honor, will give them permission to intercede for 100 of their family members. Just think about how huge that number is. 100 people. 100 souls. All lifted and honored because of this child's connection to the Quran. And here's what makes it even more beautiful. This isn't because they were perfect. This isn't because they never made mistakes. This is because they carried the Quran in their chest, the same Quran Allah calls guidance, mercy, and light. The scholars explain that this reward shows how beloved the Quran is to Allah. If a person honors his book, Allah honors them back, in this world and in the next. And look how generous Allah is, the reward doesn't just stop at the Hafiz. It spills over to their parents, their siblings, their grandparents, their relatives. People who might not have memorized the Quran themselves, but supported the child, encouraged the child, made dua for the child. That means every moment a child spent repeating verses. Every tear they shed while trying to get a difficult line right. Every minute they sat in class instead of playing outside. Every time a parent woke them up early for revision. All of it becomes a witness for them on that day. Allah honors the Hafiz, raises their rank, and gives them the ability to honor their family too. And the most emotional part? A child memorizing the Qur'an might not even understand how big this reward is. They're young. They're innocent. They're just doing their best. Yet Allah is preparing for them a reward that saves generations. This hadith reminds us of something important. The Qur'an isn't just words. It's protection. It's guidance. It's elevation. And it's a blessing that reaches far beyond the person who memorizes it. A single child, holding the Qur'an in their heart, becomes a means of mercy for an entire household. 3. The blessing of bringing 100 loved ones into paradise. When we talk about a child memorizing the Qur'an being able to bring 100 loved ones into paradise, we're not talking about a small favor or a simple gift. This is one of the greatest honors Allah can give a human being. Just imagine the day of judgment. A day filled with fear, uncertainty, and people desperately hoping for mercy. In the middle of all that, this child who memorized the Qur'an stands with a rank so elevated, so honored, that Allah allows them to intercede for 100 members of their family. Think about how many people that is. Parents, siblings, grandparents, uncles, aunties, cousins, an entire family tree lifted because one child carried the book of Allah in their heart. It's a reward that reflects not only Allah's love for the Qur'an, but also His endless generosity for those who honor it. This blessing reminds us that memorizing the Qur'an is never just a personal achievement, it becomes a light for the whole family, a shield for generations, and a means of salvation for people who may not have even understood how powerful that child's journey truly was. And the beauty behind this reward is how deeply it connects to the mercy of Allah. Allah could have simply rewarded the child alone. He could have given them paradise without extending the blessing to their family. But Allah's mercy always goes beyond what we expect. He turns the effort of one child into a gift for an entire household. Even someone who only encouraged the child for a moment, someone who helped them learn one verse, or someone who supported them emotionally benefits from that child's success. The child becomes a source of hope, a source of elevation, and a source of dignity for everyone connected to them. And on that day, when people will be desperate, crying out for help, imagine a child walking up to their parents, smiling, and saying, "Come with me." Imagine being saved, honored, and welcomed into paradise because your child memorized the Qur'an. It's a moment that wipes away every hardship, every sacrifice, and every late night spent practicing verses. This reward is not just a blessing, it's a legacy of mercy that Allah gifts to the families of those who dedicate themselves to His book. 4. How parents share in the reward. One of the most heart-touching parts of a child memorizing the Qur'an is that the reward doesn't stop with the child. Allah, in His mercy, ties the parents into that reward in a way that feels almost unbelievable. When a child grows in their memorization, the parents grow in honor with them. Every verse that child repeats, every page they revise, every surah they complete, the parents are getting rewarded alongside them. And on the day of judgment, Allah will place a crown of light on the heads of the parents of the Hafiz. Not an ordinary crown, not a symbolic crown, but a crown that shines brighter than the sun. Just imagine that moment. Imagine standing before Allah, in front of billions of souls, wearing a crown of honor because your child memorized the Qur'an. It's a moment that erases every struggle you ever went through for that child, every early morning you pushed them to revise, every night you stayed up helping them practice, every time you encouraged them even when they were tired. Allah turns all those small sacrifices into something huge and eternal. And the beauty is that this reward doesn't require the parents to be perfect. You don't have to be a scholar, you don't have to memorize the Qur'an yourself, and you don't have to be the ideal Muslim to receive this blessing. All you need is to guide your child toward the Qur'an, to support them, to cheer for them, to help them stay consistent, and to make dua for them. Allah sees every bit of effort, even the ones no one else sees. He sees the mother who wakes her child early for madrasa. He sees the father who pays the fees, buys the books, and rearranges his schedule so the child can attend classes. He sees the parents who sit patiently as their child stumbles through verses, correcting gently, encouraging softly. He sees the frustration, the tiredness, the hope, and the love behind every push. And Allah turns all of that into reward upon reward. Parents share in the reward because they are the reason the child took that path. They opened the door, and the child walked through it. So on the day of judgment, when the Hafiz stands with honor, the parents stand tall beside them, crowned, glowing, and raised in rank. It's one of the most powerful reminders that raising children on the Qur'an is not just for them, it's a gift for you, a gift for your family, and a gift that lasts beyond this temporary world. This is why scholars say that encouraging a child to memorize the Qur'an is one of the greatest investments a parent can ever make, because the return on it is eternal. 5. Benefits in the afterlife. The rewards of memorizing the Qur'an don't end in this life. In fact, the real, eternal blessings are in the hereafter. A child who carries Allah's book in their heart is being prepared for a life beyond this world, where their connection to the Qur'an becomes a shield, a crown, and a source of unimaginable honor. On the day of judgment, the Hafiz, especially one who started memorizing from a young age, will have ranks elevated above others, their faces shining with light that comes straight from Allah. Imagine standing in that terrifying, overwhelming crowd, where everyone is anxious about their deeds, and yet, this child is walking confidently, supported by the book they carried, radiating mercy and guidance. That light isn't just for them, it's a beacon that will illuminate the way for their parents, their family, and even loved ones who may not have memorized the Qur'an themselves. Scholars explain that memorizing the Qur'an turns a child into an intercessor. Allah grants them the ability to bring 100 loved ones into paradise, a reward so vast it's almost impossible for the human mind to fully grasp. But the blessing goes even further, the child will receive a crown of light, a seat of honor, and the pleasure of Allah that surpasses every worldly delight. Their recitation becomes a testimony, a witness to their sincerity and dedication, and each verse memorized becomes a bridge between them and eternal mercy. Even small mistakes along the way don't diminish the reward. Allah's generosity ensures that the effort, persistence, and love poured into memorizing His book are multiplied beyond measure. For parents, family, and friends, witnessing this child grow into a Hafiz becomes an emotional and spiritual inheritance. Every tear shed during late-night revisions, every encouragement whispered, every gentle correction, all of it contributes to a reward that continues into eternity. The Qur'an becomes more than just words in the mind, it becomes a source of protection, a source of guidance, and a source of joy in the next life. The Hafiz's connection to Allah strengthens not just their own soul but ripples outward, bringing peace, light, and salvation to those they love. In short, memorizing the Qur'an transforms a child's life, but it also transforms the lives of everyone around them, and all of it points toward the ultimate reward, Allah's pleasure and eternal paradise. 6. Why parents should encourage Qur'an memorization. Encouraging a child to memorize the Qur'an is one of the most powerful acts of love and faith a parent can ever do. It's not just about teaching them words or reciting verses, it's about shaping their heart, mind, and soul in a way that no other education or worldly achievement can. When parents guide their children toward the Qur'an, they are giving them a gift that keeps giving. A spiritual inheritance that will follow them throughout their life and into the hereafter. Every hour spent helping a child revise, every moment spent reciting together, and every gentle correction made with love becomes a seed planted in the heart of the child, a seed that grows into guidance, character, and faith. But the beauty doesn't stop there. Allah's mercy flows in such a way that the parents themselves benefit from this effort. Supporting a child to memorize the Qur'an earns them immense rewards, elevates their status in the sight of Allah, and can even serve as a means of intercession on the Day of Judgment. The child's dedication becomes a source of light for the entire family, bringing barakah into the home and inspiring other members to strengthen their connection with Allah. By nurturing a child's memorization journey, parents create a home filled with spirituality, discipline, and the love of Allah, shaping not just the child's future but the family's spiritual legacy for generations to come. Moreover, the process of memorization teaches the child invaluable life skills, patience, consistency, focus, and resilience, while instilling the love of Allah and His guidance. Parents who encourage this journey are not only raising a Hafiz but are also contributing to a future where their child becomes a source of inspiration, mercy, and benefit to others. Every sacrifice made for this purpose, early mornings, late nights, constant encouragement, and the occasional gentle correction, is transformed by Allah into a treasure that no worldly effort can ever match. In essence, parents who prioritize Quran memorization are investing in something eternal. The spiritual success of their child, the honor of their family, and the pleasure of Allah that surpasses all worldly rewards. 7. Practical tips to help a child memorize effectively. Helping a child memorize the Quran is a journey of patience, love, and consistent effort, and parents play a vital role in shaping this process. The first step is creating a structured yet nurturing routine. Children thrive on consistency, so setting aside dedicated times each day for memorization and revision helps their minds absorb the verses naturally. Early mornings, when the mind is fresh and the heart is calm, are often the most effective, but any quiet time that fits into the child's schedule can work wonders. Pairing routine with encouragement, gentle reminders, and a positive environment makes memorization feel like a rewarding habit rather than a burden. Another key tip is focusing on small, manageable portions. Rather than overwhelming a child with long surahs, breaking the Quran into shorter, repeated segments allows them to memorize with accuracy and retain the verses longer. Revision is equally critical. Daily repetition of previously memorized portions ensures that the knowledge stays firmly planted in their memory. Parents can participate actively by listening, reciting together, and gently correcting mistakes, creating a shared spiritual experience that strengthens both the child's memorization and their connection to Allah. Making memorization engaging is also essential. Using creative methods such as audio recitations, visual cues, and games to reinforce verses can turn learning into a joyful activity rather than a chore. Praise and reward, even in small forms like a smile, encouragement, or heartfelt dua, go a long way in motivating the child. Most importantly, parents should instill a sense of love and reverence for the Quran, helping the child understand that memorization is not just about achieving a goal but about connecting deeply with Allah's words and guidance. Finally, the spiritual aspect cannot be ignored. Parents should make dua consistently for their child, asking Allah to make memorization easy, to protect their heart, and to multiply the reward for every effort. Creating an environment filled with prayer, sincerity, and respect for the Quran ensures that the child memorizes with both the mind and the heart. When structured routine, gentle encouragement, creative methods, and spiritual focus combine, the child's journey of memorization becomes not just a learning process but a life-changing act of worship that brings immense reward in this world and the hereafter. At this point, family, we've already seen how incredible it is for a child to memorize the Quran, the way it transforms their heart, uplifts their soul, and brings eternal blessings not just to them, but to their entire family. And if you're watching this and feeling inspired, remember, this channel is here to keep you connected to these reminders, to teach practical ways to implement faith, and to show how the Quran's guidance can shape lives in real, meaningful ways. So before we continue, I want to gently encourage you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. This isn't about numbers or popularity. It's about being part of a community that values Allah's guidance, seeks to grow spiritually, and supports one another in faith. Subscribing ensures you don't miss any reminders that can inspire your family, help your children, and strengthen your own connection to the Quran and Sunnah. Being subscribed here means you're choosing to stay close to light in a world that often feels overwhelming. Every time you join us, you're reminding yourself and your loved ones that the Quran isn't just a book, it's a guide, a source of mercy, and a pathway to eternal reward. And the more we learn and share together, the more we see the ripple effect of these lessons in our homes and communities. So go ahead and subscribe now, and let's continue exploring how the incredible journey of a child memorizing the Quran brings endless blessings. Not only in this world but also in the hereafter, for the child, their parents, and their loved ones. 8. A heart-touching story. Let me share a story that perfectly shows the beauty and power of a child memorizing the Qur'an. There was a young boy named Ahmed, not more than 10 years old, who had a simple dream: to memorize the Qur'an. Every day, he would wake up before sunrise, recite the verses he had learned the night before, and carefully write down his progress in a little notebook. At first, it was challenging. Some verses were long, some difficult, and he made mistakes. But his parents never gave up on him. They encouraged him gently, corrected him kindly, and prayed for him constantly. Over time, Ahmed became a Hafiz, and his love for the Qur'an grew even deeper. One day, his grandmother, who had struggled with illness and felt distant from spiritual activities, asked him to recite a surah for her. As Ahmed's young, pure voice filled the room with Allah's words, something incredible happened. The peace in the Qur'an touched her heart so deeply that she began crying, feeling comfort and guidance that she hadn't felt in years. This small act, a child simply reciting the Qur'an, became a source of light and mercy not just for him but for his entire family. What's even more powerful is that stories like Ahmed's remind us of the unseen rewards. Every verse he memorized was being counted, every effort was being recorded, and one day, Allah will honor him in ways that surpass imagination, elevating his rank, surrounding him with light, and allowing him to intercede for his loved ones. The ripple effect of his dedication reached his parents, siblings, and extended family, inspiring them to connect more deeply with Allah and His book. This story shows us that a child memorizing the Qur'an isn't just learning. They are becoming a vessel of mercy, a source of guidance, and a beacon of hope for their family. And the most beautiful part? Ahmed didn't need to be perfect, he didn't need to do more than his best. Allah multiplied his efforts into a reward that will continue forever. Stories like these remind us of the incredible blessing of nurturing young hearts with the Qur'an, and how even the smallest steps in memorization carry unimaginable power in this world and the hereafter. Now, family, let's take a moment to reflect on why this journey is so important, not just for children, but for all of us as parents, guardians, and mentors. Encouraging a child to memorize the Qur'an is more than just teaching them words, it's planting seeds of faith that grow into guidance, mercy, and eternal reward. Every effort you put into supporting a child, whether it's waking them up early for lessons, listening to their recitations, correcting gently, or making dua for them, is multiplied by Allah in ways that the human mind cannot fully comprehend. You are not just investing in one life, you are creating a ripple effect that can touch generations. And for those of you watching, this is your reminder: it's never too late to start. Whether you are a parent, an older sibling, or a community member, every sincere step to help a child memorize the Qur'an counts. Even small encouragements, like praising their efforts, reciting together, or simply showing interest, become acts of worship and means of reward in the sight of Allah. The Qur'an transforms hearts, and hearts shape the future, not just of the child, but of families, communities, and society as a whole. Think about the bigger picture: a child memorizing the Qur'an today can be a source of intercession for hundreds of people tomorrow. That little voice in your home, reciting Allah's words with love and sincerity, could one day elevate the ranks of your parents, siblings, and extended family in paradise. Every struggle, every patience, every moment of dedication is being counted, stored, and multiplied by Allah. And the beauty is, Allah rewards the effort, not just perfection. So even if a child struggles, makes mistakes, or takes time to perfect the verses, their journey is already blessed. So let this be your motivation. To start today, to encourage, to support, and to never underestimate the power of a child memorizing the Qur'an. Your encouragement is a bridge to eternal reward, your dua is a key to mercy, and your support is a foundation for a legacy that Allah Himself honors. Remember, every verse learned is a step closer to paradise, not just for the child, but for the entire family, and perhaps even for generations to come. Before we wrap up, family, I want to leave you with one last reminder. This channel isn't just about videos, it's about creating a space where we inspire each other to stay close to Allah, to understand the Quran more deeply, and to take actionable steps in our lives and the lives of our children. By subscribing, you're choosing to be part of a community that values faith, knowledge, and guidance above all else. You're choosing to surround yourself with reminders that uplift your soul and strengthen your connection with Allah every single day. When you subscribe, you're not just watching content, you're investing in your spiritual growth, your family's future, and the guidance of your children. Every video you watch here, every lesson you implement, every dua you make alongside us, becomes a building block for your reward, and even for the reward of those around you. Especially for families raising young children, staying connected to inspiration and practical advice can be life-changing. It helps you guide your child in memorizing the Quran, supporting them in ways that Allah sees and multiplies in reward. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and join us on this journey of faith. Let's continue together, learning, supporting, and sharing the blessings of the Quran with our children, our families, and our communities. Remember, every small step you take to guide a child toward the Quran is more powerful than anything worldly. And by being part of this channel, you ensure that you never miss a reminder, a story, or a tip that could change the course of a child's life, and the eternal legacy of your family. Subscribing today is your way of saying, I want to be part of light, mercy, and eternal guidance. As we come to the end of this video, let's take a moment to raise our hands in sincere dua, asking Allah to bless every child, parent, and family striving to memorize His book. May Allah grant every young Hafiz the strength, patience, and sincerity to continue their journey, making memorization easy and full of love. May He illuminate their hearts with His light, protect them from distractions and negativity, and fill their homes with barakah and tranquility. And for the parents, guardians, and teachers guiding these children, may Allah multiply their efforts, reward their sacrifices, and raise their ranks in this world and the next. We ask Allah to make these children a source of mercy, guidance, and intercession for their families, allowing them to bring countless loved ones into paradise, just as He promised. May every verse memorized become a shield against trials, a source of peace in times of difficulty, and a means to draw closer to Allah throughout life. And may the reward of these efforts extend beyond what we can imagine, leaving a lasting, eternal impact on families, communities, and generations to come. O Allah, inspire us all to value Your book, to support and encourage our children in memorizing it, and to live in a way that reflects the guidance, mercy, and light of the Quran. Make us among those who honor Your words, teach them sincerely, and benefit from them in this life and the hereafter. Ameen.